On this episode of Broken Gear, we're going to rebuild the 440. So these are our original 413 heads. I had a handful of people ask me to do a comparison of these compared to other ones. So these are the 906 heads that we're planning on putting in it. And I'll just kind of set them right beside one another here and show you that there is a huge difference. So these are your exhaust ports. These are definitely, they might be the same width in between them here, but our bolt pattern is going to be way different on them. Our exhaust ports are at a 45-degree angle here compared to just a 90-degree flat. If you were wanting like numbers comparison, CCs, port volume, whatever, any of that kind of stuff, I don't know. You can consult Dr. Google for that one. I've had to consult Dr. Google for a lot of things, and surprisingly, he knows quite a bit. So these, in the meantime, are those 906 heads that we're going to use. They were rebuilt right before I got them. I got them from my buddy Nate. The problem is they got rebuilt and then they sat for a long time. So there's just a bunch of dust and stuff in them. So, is that so? Tell me how you really feel. Anyway, I'm going to clean these out and check our valve stem seals, make sure that they're still good. I do have some here at the house if for some reason they do need swapped out. But I think a good cleaning and these things will be ready to go. And then cleaning the mating surfaces here because there's a little bit of buildup on those now. So, ready to get started, Holly? It's amazing what a little cleaning will do. It looks like our valve stem seals are good. They actually look brand new in here still. So I'm probably not going to mess with them at all. Alright, here's our recycled oil pan. As you can notice, there's a lot less inside of it this time. Bunch of little metal flakes in there, even just wiping that down. I want to clean this out really good. Alright, there we have it. She's clean. Alright, so I'm just working on pulling the oil pan off. This engine has a front sump. We need the rear sump oil pan off the other engine. We're going to put it on this one. You'd think that you might just be able to kind of flip it around because there's no like indentation or groove for where the crank and stuff stick out. But that's not the case. There is a little bit of a hump right here in the oil pan itself, so it keeps you from being able to do that sweet 180. So, yep, I'm just going to keep working on zipping this thing off. And of course, my electric driver ran out of battery, so here I am with the good old-fashioned ratchet. Dang, everything looks nice in here. We'll just get our oil pickup here swapped out with one that's gonna, you know what? I think I see an issue. So this is what we're looking at because I ordered the wrong part. We've got the rear sump that came out of the 413. We've got our front sump that just came out of this 440. Granted, all of these parts should be compatible with all RB engines. And then this is actually like a mid sump, which is the one I ordered, and that's not the right one because we need it to go back farther. So what I'm going to do is clean this up, and after I clean it, then decide if I'm going to be able to use it, because I'd like to get this done tonight. Wow. Dang, those are nice. Stay. Get some of these bolts started. Just kind of get these in here, snug them up, and then I'll put them to torque spec, which is 70 foot-pounds on these heads. Torque wrenches around here somewhere. Okay, start in the center and work your way out. Wow, that was easy. That does not seem like a lot, 70 foot-pounds. Let me verify that number. Iron cylinder head, 70 foot-pounds. Okay. Alright, so I've got our rocker arm or rocker shaft assembly just kind of stuffed on here. I went ahead and tightened all of our bolts down. Now this is torqued to 25 foot-pounds. So I'm just going to come back through and make sure everything's torqued down. Wasn't necessarily that convenient, all being on one assembly rather than like a Chevy where every rocker arm's separate, but this works. Yeah, I think the next step is just rotating it over, making sure everything's going to move the way it's supposed to. I did go ahead and pull the few spark plugs out of it because we don't really need compression working against us right now. We'll do a compression test and all that stuff at another time. But everything's acting like it's gonna rotate over fine for me. Well, I think that's it for tonight. I'm gonna wait for our oil pickup to come in, stick that in here, and then stick this in the car, and then worry about getting the intake and valve covers and all that stuff on it. Mostly because I don't have a intake manifold like lifting plate, so I'll end up using these bolts right here. That'll work out pretty good. Alright, so apparently this place called Vans Auto is the only place that reproduces rear sump oil pickups for a big block Mopar. So here she is right here. Go ahead and peel this open, and yeah, this is definitely the right one. There is a huge huge difference between this one and the other new one I had. And there is your side by side, I mean, not much different at all. Maybe a little bit on an angle, but stab this sucker in there and see how we do. I thought I was doing it right. What a weird angle to put this thing in at. There we go. Yeah, we are hitting the bottom. Don't look. Alright, well, that being bashed in at the bottom, the big dent is probably playing a factor. Let's see what I can do to straighten that out. Yeah, that's working pretty good actually. Ha, who says you need fancy welders and stuff to fix an oil pan? That's not gonna leak at all. But you're lined right up. Go in. God, I can't even cross-thread it to get in there. All right, well, extra RTV in that hole. And call it good. Well, let's maneuver some things around and see about getting this thing stuffed into the car. Well, the headers are different, the mounting points anyway, so unfortunately can't use these. I do have to go find some new ones then. And these definitely look homemade. I'll find something. It'll be easier to find stuff for the 440 than the 413. Okay, so I jacked our transmission up just a little bit, get the front of it up. That way it matches the tilt of our engine a little bit better. There are little pins at the block. You can kind of see down there, they slide into the transmission bell housing. Engine mounts lined up on that side. And then over here on this side, our engine mount's pretty well lined up. And then that peg is actually already in our groove right there. So theoretically, we should just have to lower this and then put some of our bolts in and we'll be good to go. Shouldn't have taken me that long, but it actually took me about an hour. Mostly because I was doing it by myself. I don't even really know where the big hiccups were. Probably this engine mount, it has an extra little metal spacer on it. And I don't know why. I did realize that on the 413, one of the engine mount things was broken off, and I'm wondering if they just never did anything with it because it worked, because that little ear was broken off. That's my only guess. I have a couple big block intake manifolds hiding down here. And this one. There we go. And they're both a little different in their own way. So if that isn't motivation, I don't know what is. I'm gonna make that happen. Somehow I'm gonna make that happen. Just in case you didn't think you could see before, now. Well, before I get too excited about this, there are a handful of things that I need to do before that's even gonna be ready to go. The first one is there's no oil. Torque converter bolts need put back on. The starter's not in. I need to do the oil valley pan or the intake manifold gasket. Oil valve pan. It's also intake manifold gasket, yeah. The carburetors both probably need redone. I'm going to throw fuel down them just in case before, but it's probably going to leak everywhere. So I'm going to put carb, rebuild, with a question mark. Our distributor needs put in. We have absolutely no wiring in this car. I'm not going to say absolutely no, because we have just a handful of random wires that run along here. This, which looks like it's to one of the, like the starter, not the starter relay. You know, I already bought the part. What is that? That's for the, well, it's the ECU basically. So ignition control module. I'm not sure exactly what you want to call it. It plugs into that thing. So that all needs put in. I'm just going to put electrical with the ECU, the coil, plugs, wires. We have an unknown fuel line that kind of pokes out of the firewall here and comes out somewhere back there, but we don't have a fuel tank. So I'm just going to put fuel because I'm probably going to half-ass that right out the gate and just kind of jump it off a jerry can. I'm not going to worry about the cooling system yet. Just worried about things that I need to actually get this thing to fire up. Oh, I need a battery. And yeah, that's it. And this is going to sit down in here like so. But you're going to put a bunch of silicone on it so it sits down on there. And then these came off the 413 and they should be the same. These just kind of bolt down the ends. That way it creates a better seal, I guess. Maybe I'll put oil in it first. Okay, so I use the synthetic racing oil. It's VR1 10W30. It's a high zinc oil. It's normally better for these older engines. That's what I've been told. That's what I kind of just go by and live by. So this engine takes 7 of these bad boys. So we'll just go ahead and get that going here. Okay, intake manifolds. Why do I have extras? Well, it is like 3 hours later because I suck. These are 2 complete different sizes, as you can tell there. The smaller one was bolted to our 440 out of the RV. That's the wrong one. We needed the bigger one. This was mounted to the 413. So instead of pulling the engine out because it's a blizzard outside and I really don't want to pull that open and get the hoist back out there, I decided to drop the drive shaft, separate the transmission, bash myself in the head with some wrenches that I wedged in there. And yeah, now I gotta put this one on. Shit. Ugh. Okay. Torque converter bolts are in. Oh, I'm an old man. Ugh. Well, I just realized that these HP manifolds take special bolts with sleeves. And I do not have those. Nice. Just for kicks and giggles. Oh yeah, those are not even close. You can see that 45-degree angle difference there. That's one of the reasons why those aren't going to work. The other is just the general bolt pattern for the flanges. Nice. Well, I'll have to figure something different out later. Not right now. The combination of nice shiny parts and really junky parts is on fleek. I think that's how you use that term, fleek. I don't really know. Stupid wires. Oh, this is so much easier to do without those giant headers here. Although, get this thing out of the way. There we go. Gosh dang it. Oh, grab the other bolt. Try not to drop that one too. Wiring is my least favorite, mostly because of dealing with other people's mess. Now, I know that some of these wires, like that one, obviously a ground, was used for the alternator. I'm assuming these both go to the alternator as well. This guy plugs into our distributor. And then this goes into our ECU. And then we've got these wires. These probably go, well, you can see that these probably plugged in here in this ballast resistor. But some of these are going to go to the starter relay and probably to the coil, which would mount down there. Yay. I've got my ECU here. I've got my little wiring diagram here. I'm just kind of start here and base it on the diagram. So I've got my black and yellow. That comes out here. That's going to go to my coil, negative coil. What other ones do I have? So the center one is blue and yellow, and that's going to go over to the other side of the ballast resistor, wherever that guy goes. Blue and yellow. Blue and yellow. All right, so that one's already routed over there somewhere. Looks like it turns into blue. And then black. And then green. And then red. All right, so that one is 8 different colors. Blue and yellow, blue, black, green. And it stops somewhere over there. It goes to at least red beforehand. All right, so that one's over there. I've got this wire, and so these two go into the distributor, or not distributor. These two come down here, plug into my distributor. Cool. All right. So this goes to my negative coil. And then the blue goes to the other side of the ballast resistor. So this is a random fuel line. That doesn't need to be right here right now. There we go. And then random ground wire goes through there somewhere. Where'd that screwdriver go? Alright. Well, coil's mounted. Okay, so our battery box, which here's the plastic tray. And it goes in this little door. There's a battery wire. That attaches right to the roll cage. I'm assuming that's ground then. And just leave that out here. And then here's power. Or positive. Where the hell does that go? You can probably not see that very well. But basically, that's where it ends. Right there. What the heck does this go to? That's a big wire. I assume it goes to the starter. Well, where the heck does that go into the... Where does that come out of? Yep. So basically what I'm doing right here is I'm just wiring a toggle switch, and this is going to bypass my ignition switch itself. I'll have to do something else to actually engage the starter, but this will put power to the coil, and I won't have to worry about an actual key for this thing. Not right out the gate anyway. At some point, it'd be nice to have. Now you notice they're both red wires. That's because they're both going to have, both going to have positive charge going to them. And hook this end up to a battery. And then this is going to end up hooking up to the positive on the coil. I'm not exactly sure where it's going to be in here yet, so I gave myself plenty of wire. That way I can just start getting things mocked up. Where were we? So this black and yellow wire goes from our ECU to the negative on our coil. So we'll go ahead and put a little hoop end on this to make it, I don't know if to make it right is the best term for it, but to make it better and hopefully less, I don't know why I'm talking about danger and safety when it comes to this thing. Not that that has been a factor yet. And then I went ahead and stuck our toggle switch in one of the 80 holes in the dashboard. And I just brought both of my red wires out here. I'm only going to hook one of them up to the coil. I'm going to keep the other one out here just because I'm not sure exactly where my battery wire and all that stuff's going to come into play. And I'm sure I'm going to relocate it after I do the initial trying to fire this piece of junk up. Blue main ignition feed from engine harness gets power when the key's on. So I might need to run power to that other wire, the light blue and yellow tracer. It runs through to the ballast resistor, but not through the ballast resistor, because the yellow wire from the starter relay that I think we're bypassing, because that plays with the key. Yeah, I'm just gonna try running power to it. Is that the daisy chained like 8 wires in one? This one? Which one's this? I don't know, I need to go back over there and look at that. Cause yeah, the nice calico wire. 8 extensions. Great. So there's our blue and yellow. Blue and yellow. Blue and yellow. And our blue and yellow goes to the blue. Yeah, it is our calico wire. Alright. We've got our coil to power, our coil to the black and yellow tracer on the ECU. And all of our power is linked up to our toggle switchy do. Now, what about the starter? So that is one good thing about those starter relays, is you can just kind of jump it. But I could jump it without that starter relay. I just need power to it. A constant power, and then a basically a trigger wire. Okay, so went ahead and hooked up that giant gaudy wire up to the starter. I hooked up this little guy to the signal switch on it. Now, I found this in one of my drawers. It's a little cheap Chinese little switch thing here. I'm going to use that to engage the starter, start, and then cut it off, basically. And ironically, there's a hole in the dashboard about that size, so it's almost like it was meant to be. That looks like a mess, but it's a good enough mess to hopefully work. Well, guys and gals, I appreciate you sticking with me through all of that. I think I've mostly got the wiring situated, besides obviously the spark plug wires, and that kind of stuff. I need to go grab me a battery, although I might steal one out of the GTX here. And then I gotta test all the electrical system. I need to do our fuel system here still. But that's pretty much gonna wrap up this video. I know it's been a long time since a video's been posted on the charger. That wasn't the intent. My work got very busy, and I worked 7 days on and 7 days off, and then my off days were real busy as well. And then I got in a truck wreck, which was just great. So been fighting with insurance on that one, and that should hopefully be settled here pretty soon. So this is not on the back burner. I have been working on it. It's just been kind of hard to find time to get out here. So more to come. I'm really excited about this, and I hope you guys are too. And yeah, moving forward.